Let's bring in Grant King. He's Origin Energy's Managing Director, joining us now from Sydney, home to that big story of the day as well, of course. Grant, I can't really start things off without talking to you about the political leadership challenge taking place at the moment. What's your view on all this?
Well, it has no impact on our business in the short term, in any day-to-day sense. I don't think my views would be different from many other people, and that is that I think the important conversation our politicians should be having with the Australian people is about the state of our economy, jobs and productivity, how we help the genuinely disadvantaged in our communities, and to the extent that people are distracted from that conversation, then I think we're, in the broader sense, we're missing out on opportunities, and we're not progressing the truly important issues for Australia.
Well, of course, one of the most controversial bits of legislation that Julia Gillard introduced was the so-called carbon tax. Now, how are you positioned on that?
Well, there's a couple of, I think, key points. The first is that the fact of the matter is that tax has been passed, the legislation's gone through Parliament, and for a company like Origin, we have substantial carbon liabilities in our own right, and then substantially more on behalf of our customers. So the first important point is we now have to comply with that legislation, so we're investing a substantial amount of money in making sure we can do so. And again, I'm sure all companies in Australia, to the extent that it affects them, will be doing that. The broader long-term question is the policy question around carbon, and I'm quite sure that that argument is going to be prosecuted and re-prosecuted for quite some time, depending on what the particular political circumstances are here in Australia. I think the specific comment I'd make is that for the period 2012 through 2015, which is the first 3 years, I think we can be reasonably sure about the impact of it. But post-2015, quite how Australia is travelling relative to its trading partners, relative to the broader global community, and specifically in respect of carbon prices in Australia, is much less certain. So I think post-2015 is going to be quite an interesting period to see what happens.
Grant King, also you've swung into a profit in your first half year from a loss last year. Well, what do you attribute that to? And, can we expect a profit for the full year as well?
Yeah. So the loss last year, the profit this year is a reflection of our statutory accounts, and at a statutory level we have quite a few things move around. So, for example, we have derivative movements in our trading book that can often cause us to move into a loss, for example. The important number for us is what we call our underlying profit. That is our profit that strips out those that sort of volatility from our statutory profit. And our underlying profit was up 61% period on period, and that's a great result. And that result is in turn largely attributable to our acquisition of the New South Wales energy assets for $3.2 billion in March 2011. And I think importantly what we're able to demonstrate in these results to our investors is that the expectations we created at the time of that expectation have been met, and evidentially so through those results, and that has been the major driver of that growth in profit.
Grant King, we've only got about 20 seconds left, so if your answer can be brief, how much are you expecting to invest in wind energy this year? Or should I say over the next 10 years?
Yeah. So we, like many companies, have a substantial liability under the renewable energy target. We've got a substantial portfolio, 3,000 megawatts in fact, of wind sites, which if developed would probably cost, frankly, maybe $6 billion. We've not yet made any current decision to commit the next project, which is Stockyard Hill. If that was committed, it's about $1.5 billion project.
Grant King, thank you so much for your time. Grant King, the Managing Director of Origin Energy.